Here is just one of the stars of today's show. I just can't wait. So welcome back to the channel. I got something special for you today. I'm going to show you how to make watermelon wine, strawberry wine, and strawberry watermelon wine. I can't wait to show you. So many have asked you, how do you make watermelon wine or how do you make strawberry wine? We're going to show you 3 different kinds today. Stay tuned and let's get right into it.
Whoa, how you gonna step in line?
So a lot of you have watched all my videos and thank you very much. Please, if you're new to this channel, like and subscribe. But a lot of requests came in for watermelon and strawberry wine. So I'm going to combine these, but I'm going to show you how to make each one of these separate if you just want strawberry or if you just want watermelon. Strawberry, watermelon. I'm sure I'm going to get confused at some point in this video trying to keep these 3 different wines separated, but I got the recipes in the description for a 1, 3, and 5 gallon of each one of these different kinds of wine. So if you get lost with me in this video, just look in the description for the recipe. So all the difference is how much fruit you put in for each one of these kind. For watermelon wine, you want about a medium-sized watermelon, which is what I consider this one. You need 1 of these per gallon. Today I'm throwing a 3-gallon batch, so if I was doing just a watermelon wine, I would want 3 of these. So if you want to make strawberry wine, which is still probably one of my favorite wines I've ever made, strawberry, just plain strawberry wine. It is incredible. But to make strawberry wine, the frozen strawberries work the best. Here I got a 4-pound bag. So you need a 4-pound bag for every gallon of your wine that you're going to make. So if I was making a 3-gallon batch, I would want 3 of these 4-pound bags of frozen strawberries. Since today I'm going to show you how we mix it all up, I'm going to put strawberries and I'm going to put a watermelon in there to make our strawberry watermelon. Now, I'm going to forewarn you, when you're making watermelon wine, what does watermelon really taste like? Well, it tastes like water with a little bit of sugar. So when you make watermelon wine, it's not going to be that bold watermelon taste you think you're going to get. It's going to be a very mild wine. So I just want you to be aware of that. That's why when I talk to these professionals, they said you want to add something with your watermelon to give it more flavor. Today, that's why I'm adding the strawberries to make strawberry watermelon wine. I'm hoping at the end I get a little bit of the hint of the watermelon when this is finished. Everybody thinks watermelon wine is great, but if you're going to do it, I would definitely add some maybe watermelon extract or very strong watermelon juice. So let's go over additives. You know these are the only additives you will need for any wine you're going to make. You need pectic enzyme, wine tannin, acid blend, yeast nutrient, Camden tablet, sugar, and don't forget the yeast. So I don't want to bore you here, but how to sanitize, because I got a whole video on it. But I use Star San. I'm going to put a 1/2 ounce in this bucket, fill it up with 2.5 gallons of water, and get all my equipment in here. Again, as we use each one of these, I'll show you what they're for. Now, I love squirt bottles here, so you're going to see me fill up a squirt bottle. I use this for everything. Again, any piece of equipment you see in this video, I'm going to have links to the description for all of it. Get a squirt bottle. All right, let's get our strawberries opened up, our frozen strawberries. Make sure you're sanitizing everything. It's key here. Here's our strawberries. Let's get them in here. They're still a little bit frozen, but that's what we want. Remember, frozen strawberries are going to release a lot of juices. Here's the other bag. Remember, 2 bags for this strawberry watermelon wine. For this recipe, you need about 2 pounds of sugar for every gallon. Since we're making a 3-gallon batch, I want 6 pounds of sugar. Let's get this weighed out. 6. And if you go over, that's just fine. It's gonna make us for a stronger batch of wine. So now we got our stock pot here. We wanna get this sugar dissolved. So here's my 6 pounds of sugar. Just gonna add it to the stock pot. And then we're just gonna add water to this in about the same amount. So this is not an exact measurement at this point, because when we check the ABV, that's when we're gonna dial in the water. Here's the water. You can see I just got it in equal amount. Now we're gonna turn the heat on this, and we just wanna, don't bring it to a boil because you don't wanna burn your sugar. We'll just stir this until it's completely dissolved. Not gonna bore you with this because I've shown it in many of my videos. This is just making a simple syrup. That's exactly what it's called. Fast forward. So I don't know if you can see that, but I can see the bottom now. And it's almost to the boiling point. You don't want to boil your sugar, so make sure you shut off the heat before that happens. But it's getting clear. I know it's done. I'm going to shut the heat off, and we'll let this cool to room temperature. Let's cut some fruit up. So now it's time to get our watermelon prepared. You see I have this in a cookie sheet, my cutting board. So we want to collect all the juice we can. So what I'm going to do is chop off the ends to this watermelon. And we'll do the same to the other side. I'm going to spin it around. There we go. And then we're just going to slice this. And we just want the red for this. We just want the meat part of your watermelon. Now, here is a great tip. When you are making watermelon wine, you'll see a lot of videos out there on YouTube that tell you to cook your fruit. In winemaking, I'll repeat, in winemaking, I have never had to cook my fruit. You're gonna see, when we take this watermelon out of the fermentation stage at 10 to 14 days, there's not gonna be any watermelon left. It will have all turned into water at that point. So we got our chunked watermelon and we got our strawberries. I'm gonna mash these strawberries just a little bit to release more juice. So we don't wanna do too much to this because it will break down itself, but I'm just gonna give a gentle, and this is with any wine that you make. I do it with my blueberries, my mixed berries, anything you want to kind of just break down a little bit. These are still a little frozen, so I'll just do this a little and we'll be done. That's good enough for me. Again, this will all break down. You're gonna be surprised when I take this pulp back out how this is literally gonna be broke down. That's it. Let's get to the next step. All right, it's time to get some additives in. We're gonna start with Camden tablets. We want one of these per gallon. So 3-gallon batch, I'm gonna use 3 Camden tablets. And it's best to crush these between 2 spoons. And you're gonna find in my videos, I always put them at the bottom of my bucket. Do you have to do it that way? No. Do I want to spill a whole bottle of this stuff in here? No. So that's just why I do it. All right, there we go. 3 Camden tablets. The next thing we want is pectic enzyme. We want to use a 1/2 teaspoon per gallon. So I'm going to use 3 of these. And the pectic enzyme will help with the hazing in your wine. Next thing we're going to put in is some wine tannin. We want a 1/2 teaspoon per gallon. So again, I'm just gonna use 3 of these. All right, the next thing, yeast nutrient. When we put that yeast in 24 hours from now, this is just gonna kickstart it and make it motivated to get going. And the last thing, acid blend. Gotta add acid blend. We want a 1/2 teaspoon of this for every gallon. So for our 3-gallon batch, I'm gonna do 3 of these. All right, and when you're making wine from fruit, I highly recommend using these mesh bags. It's just gonna make your life so much easier. Let's put some watermelon here on the bottom. So here we go, watermelon chunks going in. Make sure you get that watermelon juice. We don't want to waste any of that. It's time for strawberries. I'm gonna just slowly put these in here and then I'll just dump them in. All right, let's see if we can just dump the rest in here. Oh my goodness. This is gonna make the best strawberry watermelon or strawberry watermelon wine you ever have, I promise. It's my favorite. I'm gonna rinse this out and put the water in there. We don't wanna waste any of that juice. There we go. I just rinsed that, add a little bit of water because we're gonna add more water on here to test that ABV. All right, it's time to cinch this bag up here. I've used this bag so many times, I don't know how much life it's got left in it. You've seen me do it many times here. I like to put a twist tie on this just to make sure nothing gets out. And it's gonna make it easier. So I got a sanitized twist tie. And we'll just put that on, cut that off, and we'll get on to the adding our water. So we got our twist tie on. Now, you remember the simple syrup we created? It's time to add that here. Remember, make sure it's cooled down to room temperature before adding it here. Oh, it's a little warm yet. Now, remember, we're making a 3-gallon batch, and with all that water and this fruit in here, it's only coming up to the 2-gallon part of my bucket. I know we got about a gallon at least of pulp. So this is where you want to add water, and you want to do it very slowly and check the ABV along the way. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna add a little bit more. And now what I'm gonna do is, remember, we got the additives at the bottom. We wanna stir this up before we take any reading. So I'm sanitizing my paddle here, and I will just get to the bottom of this and get this mixed in as best we can. We're gonna mix this every day for the first 5 days during fermentation. So if you don't get it all down there, don't worry about it. You're gonna get it within time. Now, I can tell you, we don't have a near enough water in this because my bag is not submerged yet. So before I take a reading, I'm pretty sure it's gonna need to come up almost probably close to this rim. I like to get my ABV somewhere around 10, 12%. I like it a little bit stronger. Now remember, if you're making watermelon wine, you may not want to add this water because if you're doing if you're making a 5-gallon batches and you got 5 watermelons in here, you're going to get a lot of water out of there. So less water may be better if you're just doing watermelon. But I know I got watermelon and strawberry here. So let's take a reading and see where we're at. So I got my sanitized hydrometer. I'm just going to let it down in here and I'll get you a close-up of this. But the potential right now is about 16%. So that's way high. We want to get, like I said, get the potential down somewhere between 10 and 12 would be perfect for this wine. So I'm going to add more water. Again, you might want to do that for the watermelon. So I probably added about another half a gallon. We're going to give it a stir again, get that water mixed in, and we'll just take another reading. And this is what you're going to do till you get it where you want it. You want a 16% ABV? You can stop there. But I know that's too strong for my wife and I. Each time I'm doing this, I'm putting it in sanitizer. Yeah, that's exactly 12%. I'll just add a little bit more. Maybe I can get it to 11. So I just checked the hydrometer and we're really like right 11.5%. I'm gonna let it go because I know that watermelon is gonna turn into a lot of liquid. So I don't want to get it too low of ABV. So that's it. We're ready to get the sanitized lid on here, the airlock, and then we'll wait 24 hours to get our yeast in it. All right, there we go. Let's get this lid sanitized. Make sure you're sanitizing everything on all your equipment. I got a sanitation video, so even do the outside. You can do that, it's no problem, especially that hole. So here we go. I'm gonna get that over here and get the lid on, and there. Now we gotta put this in. And there's the airlock. So that's it. We're gonna let this airlock on here, let it go. I'll see you in 24. Get the yeast in, get this bubbler going, and then we can say we're making strawberry wine, strawberry watermelon wine, and watermelon wine if you just went that route. All right, it is time to get our Red Star champagne yeast into this batch. It's been exactly 24 hours. So let's open this up. Oh man, it smells amazing. We're gonna give this, I got my sanitized paddle here, but we're just gonna give this a quick stir. and scrape the bottom a little bit. Wow, it's incredible. Now, when you're using champagne yeast or any yeast, 1 pack for 3 to 5 gallons. So I got a 3-gallon batch. We're just gonna sprinkle this anywhere I see liquid. No need to mix this in at this point. So there we go. We're gonna get it in, and that's it. We'll get our paddle back out of here, and we'll close it up, and we're gonna see bubbling in here probably in 24 hours. We'll be back. Look at this. It's only been 24 hours with putting that yeast on the top. It's already bubbling. When we get this stirred, opened up, we should start to see some foam for sure. Oh yeah, look at that. But after we give this a stir, tomorrow this will be going a lot faster. Now we're just stirring it up. We're getting oxygen in here. Make sure you're watching that oxygen video. Oxygen is very important in the first 3 to 5 days. You want this yeast to bloom. That's it. We'll close it back up and we'll check it again and stir it tomorrow. Look at this bubbler after 24 hours of putting the yeast on. It's going bananas on this strawberry watermelon wine. Let's get it open up. I would suspect we're going to see a lot of foam today. And that's the case. Look at that. And look at that color. Oh my goodness. This is going to be incredible. I used the wrong end of my paddle because I'm so excited. But let's try and get all that off of there we can. This is what you want to see in winemaking. Foam and fermentation. That's it. We're going to cover it back up. I'll do this maybe for 1 or 2 more days. I'm not going to bore you with that. We'll just fast forward to when this is done. And I'll show you how you know when it's done too. Day 3, look at this thing bubbling. Oh man, I just lost my cap. Oh. Definitely still got a lot of foam going on. That's a good thing. All right, so fermentation came to a crawl. When you're seeing this go about every minute, you know it's time to test it. So we're gonna test the ABV, see where it's at, and see if it's ready to get racked. Let's get it open. Oh, let's see, I can't wait to smell this too. The strawberry watermelon. So there we go. Oh, so I hope you can see that. It smells amazing. I gotta sanitize my hydrometer here, and we're gonna drop that in. We wanna see a specific gravity of 1.0. That means it's about ready to rack. Oh, look at that, there we go. It's sinking all the way down, which is what I expected. I'll get a close-up of this, but exactly 1.0. It's time to get it into our carboy, our secondary. Now remember, when you're making wine, you should probably be drinking wine. This is that white Zinfandel I made. I tell you one thing, that wine from a kit, it was amazing. You gotta try one of them kits. I gotta taste this again. White Zinfandel, don't miss that video. But let's get this opened up and get it racked. Oh my gosh, you should smell the strawberry in this. All right, I got my sanitized racking cane. I didn't show you how to sanitize. Again, I got a whole video on that. But let's just get into the meat of this. So I got my sanitized racking cane, and I'm gonna put the hose down here. I got my sanitized carboy 3-gallon down here, because remember, this was a 3-gallon batch. And let's just get the siphon going. There we go. And it's going down into my carboy. Look at this color. It's like pink, like strawberry and watermelon mixed together or something. But it's beautiful. I tell you, this strawberry watermelon wine is gonna be fantastic. I think I'm gonna have more than 3 gallons here. It just depends how much of that watermelon turned into water. And look at this, so much of this watermelon turned into water, I had to get a 1-gallon carboy because I think I can fill that one up too. That's the problem. You want to have too much wine. Now, one thing we're going to do here as this gets to the bottom, I want to show you this bag when it's done. There is hardly anything left in it. So that means the watermelon is in this water now. So you see what I mean? There's not much left in this. It's nothing but strawberries. There's no watermelon at all. Now you can see I didn't have enough to fill up this 1 gallon. So I usually don't recommend this, but I did it in this case to get this up. I squeezed the bag just a little bit to get some extra juice out, just to top this off to the level I want, which is right about there. Look at that. We got 3 gallons and another 1 gallon batch. So I got my airlock in temporarily. I didn't fill it with water yet. But again, remember, oxygen is your enemy at this point. You want to keep as much out as possible. But look, I poured a little bit. Don't be afraid to taste your wine in these different steps. It's not going to hurt you. Let's just taste. Wow. That tastes just like wine. Again, it's going to be very dry because you followed this recipe. We don't want to sweeten this until we bottle it. That's the easiest way to do it. If you get anything from this video, make sure you back sweeten before bottling, unless you like it dry. You can just leave it like this. That is going to be a great batch of wine for sure. Look at this strawberry watermelon wine that we just got in our secondary. It looks like a strawberry milkshake. I hope you can see that in this video. So there we go. We got everything in our secondaries here. I got my airlocks filled up. You see this one started bubble again because we probably started some of that yeast back up. But that's okay. That's why it's called secondary, because you're going to get a little more fermentation. But now what I'm going to do is get this down in my cool basement or anywhere out of direct sunlight or covered up. I've covered these up with towels already and kept them up here. But I like to put them down there where all my wine's stored. So I'm going to see you in 30 to 45 days. I'm going to let this settle. Now stay tuned for part 2, where we're going to get our bentonite in here, our filtering agent, and then we're going to bottle this strawberry watermelon wine, and I can't wait to try it. Make sure you're not missing part 2, because it's going to be exciting. You're going to see what this turns out like. I just can't wait.
Whoa, baby, this is our time to rewrite our American